It's Wednesday, October 22nd. In the headlines, disaster response teams activated as storm nears Jamaica. In business news, Sagicor Bank Jamaica and the National Commercial Bank announces increased fees for their automated banking machine. Regionally, Barbados' Prime Minister says time to restore trust in United Nations Conference on Trade and Development's core values. And in sports, West Indies levels a series against Bangladesh with historic spin performance. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. Jamaica's National Disaster Response Team was scheduled to meet Tuesday afternoon as tropical storm edges closer to the island. Environment and Climate Change Minister Matthew Samuda told the House of Representatives that the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, along with other emergency response agencies, has been fully activated.
Importantly, I want to assure you that your government is working tirelessly to ensure that the systems we have developed to protect you are indeed activated. The Met Service of Jamaica, for which I have portfolio responsibility, continues to monitor the storm's movement closely and will provide continuous updates as new data becomes available.
He said shelter managers for the island's 881 emergency shelters are on high alert.
Disaster coordinators are on alert to assist potentially vulnerable persons in our communities across the island. Additionally, the island-wide network of 881 shelters will be made available as the need arises, and the shelter managers are already on alert and preparing the designated spaces.
Minister Samuda, speaking on behalf of Works Minister Robert Morgan, added that the National Works Agency is currently assessing drains and other critical infrastructure. Jamaica remains under a tropical storm watch as Tropical Storm Melissa on Tuesday became the 13th named storm of the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season and the first this year in the Caribbean. Forecasters say the storm could become a hurricane later this week. The National Hurricane Center says Melissa is expected to turn to the northwest and north before approaching the northwestern portion of Haiti and Jamaica later this week. Here's an update on the preparation for the inclement weather from the Office of the Prime Minister's special press briefing.
Speaking at the event, Minister of Water, Environment and Climate Change Matthew Samuda assured citizens that in anticipation for Tropical Storm Melissa, the ministry has engaged emergency protocols and is prepared to provide necessary assistance and information to the public.
We have, through the National Water Commission, engaged all of our emergency protocols. We're already monitoring our situations related to our hospitals and our infirmaries to make sure that they are served right throughout any storm if it does indeed hit us, and certainly in the immediate aftermath. So the ministry is fully engaged. We're fully prepared to provide information to the society and to provide and to play our role in the response to this storm.
Deputy Chair of the National Disaster Risk Management Council, Desmond McKenzie, added his assurance of the country's readiness to face any challenges that might arise.
I again want to reassure the country of Jamaica's readiness to face up to this challenge that is imminent. The Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, along with the municipal corporations, have been meeting extensively over the last 2 weeks, and the country can be rest assured of our capabilities in terms of responding.
He appealed to citizens to listen to the bulletins and take heed to instructions given should there be a need to evacuate.
Jamaica, I can only appeal to you to listen to the bulletins, to take heed of the various instructions that have been given. We have already fast-tracked the necessary arrangements when the system comes, that we have the requisite needs for our shelters. I am going to urge people, if and when the shelters are activated, to ensure that you only take the basic things to the shelters, which will be your medication and, some essentials. But the shelters is not going to be able to accommodate certain things that we have seen taking place at the shelters.
In a weather update, according to the Meteorological Service of Jamaica, a tropical storm watch remains in effect for Jamaica as Tropical Storm Melissa is moving very slowly across the Caribbean Sea, south of Hispaniola. This means tropical storm conditions pose a possible threat to Jamaica within 48 hours. At 7 a.m., the center of Tropical Storm Melissa was located by Air Force Reserve reconnaissance aircraft near latitude 14.3 degrees north, longitude 73.5 degrees west. This is about 305 miles southwest of Port-au-Prince, Haiti, about 306 miles southeast of Morant Point, Jamaica, or about 335 miles southeast of the capital, Kingston. Tropical Storm Melissa is moving very slowly toward the west-northwest near 2 miles per hour. Some gradual strengthening is anticipated during the next few days, and Melissa could become a hurricane on Thursday. On the current forecast track, the tropical storm is now expected to approach Jamaica before turning towards the west on Saturday and passing over the waters south of Jamaica through the start of next week. As the system nears Jamaica, it's expected to produce periods of moderate to heavy rainfall and strong, gusty winds, possibly reaching tropical storm intensity, particularly over northeastern and southern parishes on Thursday and continuing through the weekend. Marine interests should expect widespread heavy showers and thunderstorms, along with tropical storm force winds late Wednesday and Thursday. All small craft operators, including fishers from the Keys and Banks, should be arriving in port to start preparations for safe harbor. The Meteorological Service continues to closely monitor the progress of Tropical Storm Melissa. It's a known fact that fishers are some of the most vulnerable during the hurricane season. In the Caribbean, hurricane preparations and warning begin in earnest in June and continue until the end of the season, the last day of November.
Fishers on the offshore Keys and Banks are being advised that sea conditions will deteriorate in the vicinity of showers and thunderstorms.
It's a known fact that fishers are some of the most vulnerable during the hurricane season. In the Caribbean, hurricane preparations and warning begin in earnest in June and continue until the end of the season, the last day of November. National Fisheries Authority is working all year round, advising fishers to get vessel registration, insurance, prepare hurricane kits, and more. Regional Fisheries Extension Officer Brian Murray says the aim is to share useful information because the lack of information could not only cost loss of funds, but also loss of life.
We have seen where our fishers have suffered dramatically just because of negligence in terms of not carrying the proper safety gears or even not being able to recognize where hazards are. So because of this, we've established a nationwide program to establish sessions where fishers can learn the basics from maintenance of their engines, from carrying out the proper equipment, as well as to practice certain standards.
There are a lot of jobs that are classified as high risk. Fishing is one of them.
So one of the risks that we have seen as an authority is that a lot of the fishers do not carry the proper gear, such as life jackets, even paddles, as well as even the simple food and water. Sometimes they will just treat it as something as a day's journey when anything can happen.
In this report, our focus is on the NFA's Safety at Sea training administered through the Caribbean Maritime University. But Mr. Morris says this is just one activity done in support of Jamaica's fisher folk.
As extension officers in the Capture Fisheries Division, we have engaged our fishers in numerous sessions, sharing the basics but important principles of safety at sea.
Head of the Department for Professional Training and Certification at the Faculty of Marine and Nautical Studies at the CMU, Kyle Shaw, says trainees are taught how to survive in an emergency.
So it focuses on things like communication and the proper procedures using the VHF radios, proper safety equipment and first aid, and also how to survive at sea in case of an emergency and how to prepare for different type of emergency. The course has things like in firefighting, practical like how to use a fire extinguishers, basic first aid.
Practice how to use the survival gear, the life jackets, the VHF radio, right? And what is this? This is the man here, he might use his VHF, he made an emergency, and one of them life jacket. You realize even something simple, he might hold on the buoy, you get me?
He says during training, they'll also learn how to navigate various areas while fishing in Jamaican waters.
A lot of persons think that the beach is the beach, but different geographical locations have different unique weather patterns and currents and so forth that are unique. So even a part of the training is to teach fisher folks that they have to learn in different areas so that they can have a clear understanding. So for example, in the Kingston Harbour, there's sometimes when you have gale force winds blowing in the harbour, but if you go out and you go to another fishing village, it might be strong currents that's blowing there. Like if you go to like Rocky Point, you might encounter sharks or alligator in those areas and so. So those are the different type of things that they'd have to learn when fishing, and also different fishing practices that is permissible in one area that's not permissible in another area.
Fishers are encouraged to keep an emergency kit with essentials like bottled water, non-perishable food, a flashlight with batteries, and a first aid kit, as well as sanitation supplies. They should also have a float plan.
You teach persons that they must have a shore-based communication person. So like, for example, a family friend, a trusted family friend or another fisher folks, that they will notify that, hey, I'm going to sea at 6 a.m. tomorrow. I should be back by 6 p.m. and I will call you at, say, 12 p.m., 4 p.m. And if you don't hear from me between this period of time, give me a call to make sure that everything is okay. So this acts as a backup so that someone knows where you are, when you are. In case of an emergency and they don't hear from you, they can also act as a method of notifying the Coast Guard as to where you are going and what was the intention and how to find you, right? As opposed to you're gone missing and it takes days for someone to even know that you're gone to sea.
Fishers are also encouraged to stay informed by monitoring official radio broadcasts and following instructions from the National Meteorological Service and other authorities. For the news on PBCJ, I'm Simone Absalom Gale. With the weather conditions forecast to increase in intensity, here's a hurricane tip that you should bear in mind.
What is a tropical storm? A tropical storm is an area of extreme low pressure. This suggests that air is rising, causing low pressure on the Earth's surface, which originates over warm tropical oceans. Before a tropical storm, get cash and ensure that your vehicle is filled with gas. If you have to evacuate your community, you will not have time to do this. During a tropical storm, stay informed. Use your portable radio to stay up to date on what is happening in your area.
Time now for the business report with Denise Williams.
Welcome to the Business Report. I'm Denise Williams, here to bring you the stories shaping the financial world and guiding your journey to smarter business decisions. Let's dive into the top headlines. Sagicor Bank and the National Commercial Bank NCB have announced increased fees for their automated banking machines, fees and withdrawal limits. Sagicor Bank confirmed that effective October 1, 2025, its per transaction withdrawal limit via the multi-link network has reduced from 100,000 to 50,000. The daily withdrawal cap, however, remains unchanged at 100,000 per cardholder. In addition, beginning October 20, 2025, the fee for multi-link withdrawals conducted at other banks' ABMs will rise from $59.23 to $61.53, inclusive of GCT. Sagicor stated that transactions carried out at its own ABMs will not be affected by these adjustments. Meanwhile, NCB will roll out a new fee structure for cash withdrawals starting December 1, 2025. Under the revised policy, withdrawals exceeding 100,000 will attract a $379.50 fee, while seniors aged 55 and older will remain exempt from the new charges. For withdrawals up to $100,000, customers will incur a $750 fee. NCB will also grant 4 free ATM transactions per month, after which a $25 fee will apply for each additional transaction. Saving account holders at NCB will continue to enjoy 2 free transactions monthly, with a $35 fee per transaction thereafter. For the trading period ending October 21, 2025, these were the most actively traded stocks. Wigton Energy Limited with 5,015,046 units, representing 31.16% of market sales volume. Sagicor Select Funds Limited Financial with 1,707,144 units, representing 10.61% of market sales volume. Trans Jamaica Highway Limited with 1,512,196 units, representing 9.4% of market sales volume. We now shift our focus to the Forex market rate set by the Bank of Jamaica. On October 21, 2025, Forex traders earned $1.20 per dollar, selling the US at $160.77 and buying the US at $159.57. The Canadian dollar netted Forex traders $6.88 per transaction, with selling at $116.98 and buying at $110.10. The British pound yielded Forex traders $5.29 in profits, with selling at $216.49 and buying at $211.20. For our credit report tip of the day, is real estate your dream? We'll start today. Pull your credit report, face the numbers head on, and clean up what no longer serves your financial story. Set your bills on autopilot, pay down those cards, and let every payment rebuild your power. Block by block, brick by brick, just like the home or project that you're about to create, it's time to rebuild your credit and fund every dollar of your construction dream. And that wraps up today's Business Report. I'm Denise Williams, reminding you that every financial decision is a step toward your future. Until next time, stay focused, stay informed, and keep striving for success.
In regional news, Barbados' Prime Minister Mia Mottley says it's time to confront the growing trust deficit that's eroding confidence in global institutions. Speaking as outgoing chair at the opening of the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development 16, Mottley emphasized that restoring trust must be at the heart of the United Nations' efforts to support developing nations. The conference, held under the theme Shaping the Future, Driving Economic Transformation for Equitable, Inclusive and Sustainable Development, also marked progress under the Bridgetown Covenant, which she says has guided UNCTAD's response to 21st century challenges. But Mottley notes, while much has been achieved, there is still a long way to go.
Underlying this is truth. And underlying truth is evidence and data, which coincidentally UNCTAD excels at providing. We need to demystify AI, while at the same time creating regulations that allow it to be used for good and not for discord. We must recommit our efforts to addressing the climate crisis. Denying its existence does not make it go away. It does not eradicate the growing intensity of hurricanes or stymie the rising temperatures in the oceans. It does not stop glaciers from melting or narrow the line of climate migrants. The only action that will address the climate crisis is action. I would like to especially thank the UNCTAD Secretariat for the focused attention paid to small island developing states, which led to the development of a SID strategy and the establishment of a trust fund. I do, however, regret that this trust fund has not been resourced. I call on our partners to work with us to ensure that the SIDS Trust Fund can help small islands build their productive capacities and to grow through trade.
St. Lucia's Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre urged the heads of the regional security system to adopt a zero-tolerance approach to crime from the start, focusing on early life and the recruitment process to help deter individuals from a life of crime. Pierre made these statements at the opening ceremony of the System Unit Heads meeting on Monday.
Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre urged the unit heads of the Regional Security System RSS to promote the message, quote, "Crime does not pay from a young age." The chair of the RSS Council of Ministers argued that adopting this ethos would protect the future of the agency. During the RSS's opening service for its unit heads meeting, Prime Minister Pierre stated that this approach would also ensure the agency plans for capable leaders.
Your recruitment policy should be embedded with a solid plan and an avoidance of mediocrity. And it is very important that you understand that the people from which you have to recruit policemen and soldiers, they come from the very society that you police now. So community policing and getting into the schools so that we can begin the ethos in the society that crime does not pay.
Prime Minister Pierre encouraged law enforcement officials to begin their drive in educational institutions.
Start from the lowest level, which is the schools, even the primary school. So when you go to recruit people to join the forces, because these people will come from these schools, they must understand and they must grow up with the idea of the philosophical underpinning that crime does not pay. And the only way you can do that is if you start from the schools, speaking to the young people.
The territories are experiencing a surge in gang and gun-related crime that disproportionately affect males. The head of government also argued that promoting a zero tolerance for crime from an early age could help deter youngsters from engaging in criminal activities later on in life.
In sports, the West Indies made history in Mirpur, becoming the first team to deliver a full 50 overs of spin in a one-day international, edging Bangladesh by 1 run in a dramatic super over finish to level the series at 1-1.
Bangladesh posted 213 for 7 after choosing to bat, with Rashad Hussain powering the hosts late in the innings. The right-hander smashed an unbeaten 39 from just 14 deliveries, including 3 sixes and 3 fours in the final overs. Shomo Sharkar added 45 from 89 deliveries, but no other top-order batter passed 23, as West Indies kept the run rate in check. Gudakesh Moti finished with 3 for 65, while Alec Athanaze returned figures of 2 for 14 from his 10 overs. Akil Hussain also took 2 for 41, as the visitors used 5 spinners and no seamers, a first in ODI cricket. In reply, the West Indies also ended on 213 for 9. Captain Shea Hope led with a crucial 52, while Justin Graves added 22 and Akeem Ogis chipped in with 17 on debut. Hope and Carripair managed to tie the game with a last ball scramble after a drop catch and a missed run out by Bangladesh. In the super over, the West Indies posted 10 runs, thanks to a boundary from Hope. Hussain, despite bowling wides and a no-ball, conceded just 9 runs as the visitors claimed a tense win. The match also set a record for spin with 92 overs in total, surpassing the previous high of 78. For Bangladesh, Nasoom Ahmed and Rashad Hussain claimed 2 wickets each, while Mustafizur Rahman, their lone seamer, gave up 40 runs in 8 overs. With the win, the West Indies take the momentum into the final match of the series on Thursday. West Indies left-arm spinner Akil Hussain admitted he was running on empty after arriving in Bangladesh just mere hours before the start of the second ODI. But he said he was grateful to keep his composure to seal a thrilling super over victory over Bangladesh. At the post-match press conference, after guiding the West Indies to a win, Hussain said,
"I don't think I have anything left in me again, buddy. Got to the hotel at 4 a.m., but it's part of the job. And once you commit to something and once you give your word, you better be ready to turn up and give 100%, no excuses. And I almost messed it up, but thankfully, I took the team home in the end."
Hussain, who bowled the decisive over, said his plan was to exploit the large square boundaries on a tricky surface.
So for me, it was just trying to spin the ball from close as possible on a good length and force him to hit square because that square boundary was quite big.
Reflecting on the match and the conditions, Hussain said the team must learn to close out games with greater efficiency.
I won't say we have cracked the code. I think we need to show a lot more batsmanship, especially from the maybe top half.
Having been in similar high-pressure situations before, Hussain drew on past experience to deliver. Asked about his omission from the ODI squad, Hussain said he remains focused on performing.
With me being out of the ODI team, I have no control over that. For me, it's just about enjoying the game, performing at your best, and just leave the rest up to everyone else.
Despite battling fatigue and intense pressure, Hussain said the victory was vital in lifting the team's morale.
These wins do a lot for the team. It brings them together. It makes everyone believe. And at the end of the day, a win is a win. And I think that these wins that you scrape and fight as a unit to get over the line, it can only do wonders for the team. And hopefully it do just that in the last game for us.
The West Indies women's senior team has begun an intensive 8-week training camp in Antigua as they prepare for a landmark year in 2026, featuring 6 tours, 15 ODIs, a test match, and the ICC Women's T20 World Cup. The camp, which started on October 20, is designed to lay a strong foundation as the Maroon Warriors gear up for a demanding international schedule. And that's it for the news on PBCJ. Stay safe.